Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine you close your eyes in our modern world, right? And when you open them, bam, it's 1982. But you aren't waking up in a cozy bed in a bustling city. You are freezing in a destitute rural village in China, stuck inside the body of a guy that literally everyone despises. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking the absolutely wild zero-to-hero saga of Chen Yun. We're going to see exactly how a man at the absolute rock bottom of society uses a very specific set of skills to conquer the wild, take down corrupt officials, and totally wreck organized crime to build a massive fortune. Let's get into it.
To really grasp the magnitude of Chen Yun's rise, you have to feel the sheer desperation of his starting point. Picture a young woman, terrified, pleading, "I can wash clothes, cook, just please don't sell me." Those are the heartbreaking words of Zhao Heixia, his sister-in-law. When our main guy wakes up in this new body, he is slammed right into this nightmare. The original owner of his body was literally moments away from selling a teenager to a notorious local thug. Why? Just to pay off a 20 yuan debt for some basic grain. Now, 20 yuan might sound like spare change to us, but to a starving peasant in 1982, that was a literal fortune. That's our starting line: total poverty, moral bankruptcy, and looming tragedy. The new Chen Yun has to immediately cancel this sick deal, calm his starving family down, and somehow put food on the table before they all perish.
The contrast here is just staggering. The old Chen Yun, complete scumbag. A cowardly, abusive husband perfectly fine with trading human lives for a sack of rough grain. The village looks at him like he's dirt. But the consciousness that just snapped into this starving body, yeah, it belongs to a highly trained, lethal special forces operative. Talk about an upgrade. He doesn't panic. He looks at those freezing, brutal mountains not as a death trap, but as a tactical environment loaded with resources. He swaps out that coward's mindset for pure warrior discipline, making a hard vow that his family will never, ever suffer again.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how he doesn't just stumble into wealth. He systematically levels up. Week 1, he uses a makeshift slingshot and elite tracking skills to bag small game. Gray squirrels, pheasants, getting clean headshots to the pelts stay pristine and valuable. Week 2, he escalates to a massive 400 jin wild boar. We're talking over 440 pounds of pure muscle. And by week 3, he is out tracking the apex predator of the woods, the black bear. This isn't just about putting meat on the table. It's about a guy using elite tactical knowledge, reading the wind, mapping animal trails, getting into the predator's head to completely dominate a wild 1982 mountain range.
Which brings us to this incredible, nail-biting moment. How on earth do you fight a charging, 400-pound wild boar when your only weapon is a rusty little hatchet? Seriously, a beast that size will gore a person to death in seconds. But Chen Yun relies on clinical combat reflexes. When other villagers panic, charge in blindly, and get ripped up, Chen Yun just waits. He calculates. He waits for that exact split second of vulnerability and delivers one perfectly placed lethal blow. He saves a villager's life, secures hundreds of pounds of premium meat, and overnight completely flips his reputation from the village joke to a terrifyingly capable provider.
Let's put this into perspective with some hard economic data. Back in 1982, ordinary rice cost about 20 cents a caddy, which is roughly a pound. Domestic pork was about 85 cents. People were literally starving to death over pennies. Meanwhile, Chen Yun is walking out of the woods with bear bile worth 100 yuan and pristine wolf pelts fetching 30 to 40 yuan a pop. By using his military skills to harvest these rare, high-value goods, he's basically printing money. He bypasses the broken local economy entirely, taps straight into the lucrative city markets, and turns raw survival into unthinkable 1980s wealth.
But here's the thing about getting rich quick. It attracts predators. Enter the local bully, Li Argu. Argu couldn't care less about that original 20 yuan debt anymore. He sees Chen Yun thriving, bringing home the bacon, and decides he wants what Chen Yun values most: his wife, Shumei, and her sister. Argu assumes he's still dealing with the old, spineless Chen Yun. He has absolutely no idea what kind of monster he's actually messing with. This isn't man versus nature anymore. We've shifted straight into man versus ruthless human predators.
So, how exactly does a former Special Forces operator handle a local street gang? With absolute, clinical dominance. Lai Ergu tries to pull this classic lure the tiger from the mountain trick to kidnap the women, but Chen Yun sees through it instantly. He intercepts the gang and just hands them a flawless, brutal beatdown. And he doesn't stop at self-defense. He totally flips the script. He extorts 40 yuan out of the thugs, literally double his original debt, calling it compensation for medical and mental damages. Then he publicly bans them from the village for life. It is an absolute masterclass. He doesn't just protect his family, he sends a bone-chilling message to anyone else thinking of testing him.
With the street thugs handled, Chen Yun faces a much more insidious threat. What happens when the bad guy isn't just some thug with a stick, but the corrupt village head who literally controls the system you live in? Village head Zhang Yangwu is terrified of Chen Yun's sudden rise to power, so to crush him, Zhang orchestrates this nasty frame job. He accuses Chen Yun's loyal buddy, Li Shu, of stealing the village head's own premium pork. He drags the authorities into it, trying to publicly humiliate them and ruin an innocent man's life. This is systemic power going head-to-head with raw truth, and Chen Yun steps right up to the plate to save his friend. And he doesn't use his fist for this one. He uses cold, hard, forensic logic. He stands in front of the whole village and inspects this so-called stolen pork. He points out that official state-purchased pork would have a blue government inspection stamp on it. Guess what? No stamp. On top of that, state pork just smells like regular meat. The meat they're holding has this distinct, super-rich, slightly rancid stench. Why? Because it's wild bear meat. Chen Yun and his friend had literally just hunted one. He actually challenges the villagers to step up and smell the difference. It's an epic move that completely dismantles the village head's lie and proves his friend's innocence beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, and the fallout? Pure, satisfying justice. The village head's son gets arrested for trying to assault Haiksha. But the real dopamine hit is when higher authorities show up and raid the village head's property. And guess what they find hidden away? A massive, secret stash of provincial relief grain, premium rice, and government meat tickets. This was vital, life-saving state rationing meant for everyone. While the community was literally chewing on tree bark to survive, their leader was hoarding their food. This blatant corruption gets ripped out by the roots, cementing Chen Yun as the undisputed powerhouse of the area.
And this brilliantly illustrates his next big move. Having totally conquered the mountains in the village, Chen Yun packs up his premium goods and heads to the city. But he immediately grabs the attention of the urban jungle's apex predator, city crime boss Liang Chen. Boss Liang aggressively lowballs him, offering a pathetic 400 yuan for pelts and goods that are worth vastly more. And it's not a negotiation, it's a threat. Liang very casually mentions Chen Yun's wife and sister. The message is clear: take this terrible deal or pay in blood. This is the ultimate test for our reincarnated soldier.
The tension in this market scene is absolutely through the roof. But Chen Yun, he does not cower. He doesn't take the lowball offer just to buy some fake safety. Instead, right there in the middle of a crowded market, totally surrounded by Liang's thugs, Chen Yun pulls a knife. He stares the crime boss dead in the eyes and says, "Cut off a man's wealth? It's like killing his parents. Try me." He matches the mobster's intimidation with pure, ice-cold military menace and walks away, fully knowing that a violent retaliation is practically guaranteed.
And that retaliation comes in fast. A heavily armed head squad pushes deep into the mountains to raid Chen Yun's home. Big mistake. Chen Yun is already waiting. But the thugs don't even meet him first. They walk straight into an ambush by a massive alpha wolf dog that Chen Yun had saved and tamed earlier. In the absolute chaos of this animal attack, Chen Yun strikes from the shadows, systematically dismantling the entire squad with his elite close-quarters combat skills. He doesn't just beat them, he sends the battered thugs back to the city with a very bloody warning for Boss Liang. Come near my family again and your empire falls.
So the crucial point here is just the sheer velocity of his success. Look at where he started. He began at a literal deficit, -20 yuan, a hair away from losing his family to human traffickers. Fast forward a few days, and his first hunt brings in 18 yuan. Suddenly, there's hope. By ruthlessly leveraging his past life skills against both beasts and bad guys, he skyrockets to over 400 yuan in pure liquid capital. He's stockpiling food, buying new clothes, and providing absolute security for his family. In the context of 1982 rural China, this isn't just making a living. This is the hyper-aggressive accumulation of unthinkable wealth.
He's secured his family. He's tamed the deadly mountains, taken down corrupt local officials, and struck sheer terror into the hearts of city crime lords. He's got capital, he's got respect, and he possesses a mind armed with tactical knowledge from the future. The foundation is rock solid. So the big question now is, with the booming economy of the 1980s right on the horizon, what kind of massive empire is Chen Yun going to build next? His transition from desperate survivor to wealthy tycoon is complete. But honestly, this incredible saga of conquest, it's really just getting started. That wraps up today's Explainer. Thanks for joining us, and definitely keep your eyes peeled for the next chapter.